On the left side of my screen, I've got my solution for the hospital admissions activity.
This video is brought to you by OppiePie's Academy.
Your HTML should be really similar to mine. Your CSS obviously will differ quite a bit, depending on what you wanted for the design for the form itself. So a couple things I want to point out here. Of course, we've got our form with the action and post, and I gave that to you as part of the activity. But I've done the form in a table, as the directions suggest. And what the table has allowed us to do is neatly line up the labels and the form elements. So see how the form elements are all aligned here on the right-hand side? The reason for that is the table, each row contains in a table data on the left-hand side, the label. So right now I've highlighted the label first name, which you see right here. And then we close that table data and we open a new table data for the form item itself. So all of these line up in the right-hand column of the table, giving us this really nice appearance. So of course we have our input type for text for first name and last name, email address. Now you might have also done input type email here. If you do input type email on mobile devices, you'll get that email optimized keyboard, which makes it easier to enter the actual email address. For phone number, you could have done text or phone. That also gives you that phone keyboard on mobile devices. Something to think about if you think a lot of mobile users will be using your site. Address would be text and city would be text. Now for the state, I wanted you to do this large dropdown. Now I didn't expect you to type all 50 states here yourself to create the dropdown that you see on the right. You can find that just about anywhere. If you Google search state HTML dropdown, there's a number of places where you can just copy and paste it. This is where I copy and pasted it from, freeformatter.com, which has a lot of different things like this that you may find useful. So just copy and paste that in. The other reason I want you to copy and paste versus typing that yourself is the more you type, the more likely you're going to make some type of error while you're typing. So this avoids that. And then we have the zip code, age. For age, we used a numerical stepper. Let's see, where is that? Right here. So you could go up. You can't go below 0, obviously. And we did a maximum value in mine of 115. I don't think you'll have anybody older than that filling out the form. For date of birth, we did another select box. The select box included a drop down with the months of the year, a drop down for the days. And notice for numerical values, I make the value the same as the actual piece of data. So here we have our days, and then the year we have that typed. You could also do a drop down for the year. To be honest, that kind of drives me crazy when there's 100 different values in a drop down. So you might just want to have the user type this. And here, by the way, you could also do, if you want to do input type number, and then have a minimum and a maximum value. So let's say you have a minimum value of 1900 and a max value of 2015, which would pretty much, I think, accommodate everybody living here. So now you could have that minimum, maximum value. Just may make it a little bit easier, a little bit friendlier for your users. Gender, of course, was a radio button. So we have input type equals radio. Name and ID are both gender, and that's what makes them work together, right? If you're on male or female, it doesn't let you select more than one. And that's because we have the name attribute the same in both our radio buttons. And then the ID, of course, we need to access this through JavaScript. The value is what's returned to the server if this is selected. So value male or value female. The health history was checkboxes because someone may have had more than one of these in their health history. So we're allowed to check none of these, one of these, or all of these if necessary. Also included an other box here where they could type some other condition that they may have had. And then we have our reset and our submit buttons down at the bottom of the form. And I just did input type equals submit or input type equals reset using the traditional submit and reset buttons. Then, of course, we close our table and close the form. My CSS is very, very simple. Just made the form 500 pixels wide with a 1 pixel solid black border around it. Gave it a little background color, this kind of orange tan you see here. And on the input and selects, I made the font size 0.55. I think by default, the font size on these is often much too big. Well, congratulations on completing the activity. And I hope to hear from you a little bit about how it went. So feel free to post your experience in completing this activity as part of the course. Thanks a lot.